I went to church last Sunday so I could sing and pray. But something quite unusual happened on that day. Now church started right on time, just like it does without a doubt. Everything was all just fine, except when it came time to let us out. You know the preacher, she kept preaching. She told us to have one more thing to say. Said, children, before you think of leaving, you better think about the judgment day. Now everyone got nervous because everyone was hungry too, and everyone was wondering what was the next thing she would do. And the preacher, she kept preaching. She said, now I'll remind you, if I may, you all better pay attention now, or I might decide to preach all day. Now everyone was getting so hungry that the old ones started feeling ill, and the weak ones started passing out, and the young ones, they could not sit still. And the preacher's voice rose higher, so I snuck up on the balcony and I crept into the choir, and I begged them, brothers, sisters, help me please. I said, when I give you a signal, I said, when I raise up my hand, won't you please join with me together and praise the Lord, I have a plan. And the preacher, she kept preaching. Long is the struggle, hard to fight, and I prayed, Father, please forgive me. And I stood up with all my might. I sang to the Lord, let praises be. It's time for dinner now, let's go. Got some beans and some good cornbread. I listened to what the preacher said. Now it's to the Lord, let the praises be. It's time for dinner now, let's go. Yes, and I did give a signal. Yes, and I raised up my hands and then joined with me the choir. Yes, every woman, child, and man, they sang to the Lord, let the praises be. It's time for dinner now, let's go eat. We've got some beans and some good cornbread. Now listen to what the preacher said. Now to the Lord, let the praises be. It's time for dinner now, let's go eat. And the preacher, she stopped preaching, and a hush the church did fill. And then a great white dove from up above landed on the windowsill, and the dove flew down beside her. Fork appeared right in her hand, and with everybody watching, preacher ate that bird right there and then. And now everyone got really nervous, and the preacher, she did start to glow. As we watched in disbelief, these were the words she spoke.
Said Mama's in the kitchen, she been there all day. You know she's cooking something good, so let's bow our heads and pray.
She sang to the Lord, let the praises be. It's time for dinner now, let's go eat. Got some beans and some good cornbread. Listen to what the preacher said. She said, to the Lord, let the praises be. It's time for dinner now, let's go eat. The moral of this story, children, it is plain true. God knows if a preacher preaches long enough, even she'll get hungry too. She'll sing to the Lord, let the praises be. It's time for dinner now, let's go eat. Got some beans and some good cornbread. Listen to what the preacher said. She said to the Lord, let the praises be. It's time for dinner now, let's go eat. We got some beans and some good cornbread. Listen to what the preacher said. To the Lord, let the praises be. It's time for dinner now, let's go eat. We got some beans and some good cornbread. Listen to what the preacher said.
To the Lord, praises be. Oh, let's go eat. We got some beans and good cornbread.
preacher said to the Lord, let the praises be. It's time for dinner now.